All right, welcome to today's Explainer. We are going to unpack one of the absolute most enigmatic, deeply secretive locations on the face of the planet. Miles and miles away from the comforts of civilization lies this massive, unapproachable expanse. You can almost feel the blistering heat, right? The sheer emptiness of the surrounding mountains and those vast, dry lake beds. And it is intentionally remote. For decades, this extreme geographic isolation has served as the ultimate physical barrier, keeping curious eyes, foreign adversaries, and just the general public as far away as possible from whatever is going on inside. And that geographic isolation, well, it's heavily reinforced by some truly unprecedented security. I mean, you can't exactly stumble upon this place by accident on a family road trip. The dusty roads leading in are literally covered with these stark, intimidating warning signs that outright authorize the use of deadly force. You've got armed patrols monitoring the perimeter day and night. Locals call them the camo dudes, just watching from unmarked vehicles. Even if you're a casual tourist trying to snap a distant photo from a mountain ridge miles away, trust me, you are being watched through high-powered lenses. The secrecy is just palpable, which naturally leads every single person who hits that literal and figurative wall of secrecy to ask one totally irresistible question. What is really hidden inside Area 51? It's the core mystery, right? It's captivated the entire globe for over half a century. Why go to such extreme, insanely expensive lengths just to keep everybody out? What could possibly warrant that level of obsessive protection?
Well, to start untangling that, we have to look at a pretty shocking piece of historical data. 2013. That is the year the United States government finally, officially acknowledged that Area 51 even existed. Think about that for a second. Up until 2013, despite it being literally the most famous secret military base in pop culture history, it wasn't officially real. It was a phantom base. But by the time the CIA finally declassified documents acknowledging it, the rumors had already completely taken over the world.
So we immediately hit this massive divide between myth and fact. In the public imagination, this is the ultimate stash house for alien spacecraft, right? It's where scientists are actively reverse engineering extraterrestrial tech from UFO crashes or, hiding actual aliens. But the official reality is a lot more grounded, though honestly no less secretive. Area 51 is a highly classified United States Air Force facility located inside the massive Nevada test and training range. We've basically got two completely different narratives occupying the exact same patch of desert.
To really understand how this towering myth was built over the years, we need to follow the historical breadcrumbs. We'll start way back in 1947 with the infamous Roswell crash, which completely set the stage. Then we'll move through the intense paranoia and secrecy of Cold War aircraft testing, hit that turning point of official acknowledgement in 2013, and finally land on the completely bizarre cultural phenomenon that happened in 2019. But it all starts with that very first spark, right after World War II. 1947. The Roswell incident. Something crashed on a ranch near Roswell, New Mexico, and this single event essentially birthed the modern legend. Before this, the skies were just the skies. But after the summer of '47, this deep shadow of doubt was cast over the American public. It was the inciting incident, the exact moment that forever linked the American Southwest with extraterrestrials in our collective imagination, creating this perfectly fertile ground for everything that came next.
The tension right after the crash is absolutely fascinating. The military comes out quickly and publicly claims, hey, it was just a high-altitude weather balloon, nothing to see here. But conspiracy theorists were entirely convinced that something far more disturbing fell from the sky. They believed that alien wreckage and maybe even extraterrestrial bodies were secretly scooped up in the dead of night and trucked directly to the secure vaults of Area 51. So, was it just a mundane military accident or the greatest cover-up in human history? We are looking at two totally irreconcilable realities here.
Let's step away from 1947 for a minute, because over the following decades, weird sightings near Area 51 just poured gasoline on the fire. Witnesses, and we're talking credible pilots and military personnel here, started reporting truly bizarre things. What were these glowing lights moving unnaturally fast across the night sky? People were seeing aircraft pulling off maneuvers that totally defied the known laws of physics, unlike anything the public knew existed. Well, it turns out there is a very grounded yet highly classified explanation for exactly what they were seeing.
And here it is. During the absolute height of the Cold War, Area 51 was actively being used to test highly advanced military aircraft in complete, absolute secrecy. A huge one was the U-2 spy plane. This is just an incredible piece of aviation history. At the time, this plane could cruise at 60,000 feet, which was higher than literally any other aircraft on Earth. So high that commercial airline pilots who would see the sun glinting off its long silver wings honestly believed they had just seen a UFO. They were reporting exactly what they saw, with total accuracy. They just had absolutely no idea human technology had advanced that far.
And those incredible aviation leaps definitely didn't stop there. Later on came even more advanced, top-secret projects like the F-117 Nighthawk stealth aircraft. I mean, these were radical, futuristic, geometric shapes just slicing silently through the desert night. They looked entirely alien. So the crucial takeaway here is that many aerospace experts and historians now firmly believe that most UFO sightings around Area 51 were actually just secret military tech being tested decades ahead of the public curve. The so-called aliens were actually just incredibly advanced American engineers pushing the boundaries of flight.
But of course, secret planes don't explain everything for everybody. The myth completely took on a life of its own, especially when former workers started going on national television with some shocking claims. Enter Bob Lazar. In the late 1980s, he became famous for publicly stating that he worked at a highly secret underground facility near Area 51 called S4. In his specific claim, he stated he was hired by the government to literally reverse engineer alien spacecraft. That idea spread like wildfire across TV broadcasts and the early internet, and it completely blew the lid off the public's imagination.
Lazar's claims went totally viral and created this massive rift in public opinion, bringing us to what we can call the Bob Lazar divide. On one side, you have believers who completely accept his story as the ultimate truth of what's happening out there in the desert. They point to details in his accounts that they claim simply couldn't have been fabricated. But on the other side, you've got heavy skeptics who call him a complete fraud, pointing out major inconsistencies in his background and education. As an explainer of the facts, it's absolutely vital to note that we simply do not have the definitive answers here. Nobody truly knows how much of his story is real, but its impact on our culture, oh, that is undeniable. Which brings us jumping forward to the year 2019. This is the exact moment where decades of intense military secrecy, real historical aircraft testing, and wild conspiracy theories violently collided with the modern internet. The historical secrecy we've been tracking sparked a massive online movement that proved just how deeply Area 51 is hardwired into the global psyche.
It became known as Storm Area 51. You probably remember this. What started as just a late-night internet joke quickly snowballed into something completely unimaginable. Millions of people online jokingly signed up for a Facebook event, pledging to rush the base and uncover its secrets once and for all. It was a massive, viral phenomenon. It dominated the global news cycle for weeks, and it actually forced the United States military to issue official statements warning people not to approach the base. And the logic behind the whole thing was just as funny as it was absurd. The battle cry was simple. Quote, "If we all run into the base at once, they can't stop everyone." Fortunately for everyone involved, very few people actually showed up in the desert, and nobody seriously attempted to storm a highly classified, heavily armed military facility. But the joke itself and the fact that millions of people engaged with it revealed something incredibly important. The world is still utterly obsessed with this patch of Nevada desert. We desperately want to know what's behind the curtain. And why are we so obsessed? Well, it really comes down to a fundamental psychological reality. Humans fear and are intensely fascinated by what they cannot understand. The extreme secrecy of Area 51 makes people relentlessly curious. When we're met with a literal wall of silence, classified documents, and armed guards, our imaginations naturally fill in the blanks, right? We invent stories to make sense of the void. And sometimes the mystery of the unknown is actually far more powerful and captivating than whatever the mundane truth might be. So, as we wrap up today's explainer, I want to leave you with this final, lingering thought. What is really hidden inside those heavily guarded hangars? Is it alien technology recovered from that crash in Roswell? Is it next-generation secret weapons that are going to define the future of warfare? Or is it simply classified military experiments hidden behind decades of absolute silence? The full truth may never be revealed to the public, but one thing is for sure, Area 51 is going to remain one of America's greatest and most enduring mysteries. Thank you so much for joining me today, and hey, keep questioning the unknown.